If you are a programmer and you are not sure what Git is, what GitHub is, and what version controlling means, then in this video, I'm going to explain what is Git, what is GitHub, and the common Git functions and GitHub functionalities that you should know to get started with version controlling. My name is Aditya Shenoy from BrainyThings, where I make programming simple and fun. YouTube statistics say that about 84% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. So if you want to join the Brainy Club, then hit that subscribe button. It is free and you can always change your mind in future. Before understanding what version controlling is, let us see a scenario where version controlling is necessary. So for example, if you are assigned a project, then in the initial stage, in the day one, you create a file, create a code file or any other resource file that you want. So I will name this as abc.txt, and in this file I will add my first feature that I implemented in day one. I save this file at the end of my day one. The next day when I come back to my code, I see that I want to add some modifications to my feature A, or I would like to add a different function altogether, say feature B. So instead of making the changes directly over here like this, if you do this, you cannot track what work you have done in the previous day. So instead of directly making changes to the file, there are multiple ways you can track the versions of your code. So one way, if you want to keep everything in a single file, you can add comments in your code. So for example, consider this is a Python file, so I can add my comments like this and add date or whatever my name is in the code to say that this line or these lines are added by this person at this date. And you can add feature B now with a different date, for example February 7th, that is tomorrow. So if I do this, I can keep track of the versions of my code. But if we do this, the code will contain a lot of comments and with different dates, with different person name, and it will be very hard to read the code after that. So instead of doing this, what we can do in another way, we can rename this file to whatever version we want to track. For example, if I want to track that this file was created on this date, so I will rename this file to whatever file name it is and with the date when it was modified last. And if I want to make some changes in this code, then I will just copy this file and rename this to the current date, and then I can add my feature B in this, and by this way I can keep track of what work did I do at the end of February 6th, and I can jump back to present to see the current state of my code. This is a good way of versioning for smaller projects, but just imagine that multiple teams containing multiple people are working on this project for months. And this is a realistic scenario in many of the companies. And if you follow this approach of tracking the versions by the file name, just imagine how much files will it create for each person for each day. And the folder will completely look like a mess. You can add some hierarchy like to create different folder for different people, but it will still be a lot of files to look for anything. And to overcome all of these problems, version controlling helps. So let us see a diagram where version controlling can be explained very well. In this diagram, the green dots or the green branch represents the master branch or the main branch, and this main branch will be visible to the clients or user, whoever is using a project. Maybe it is an application, it is a web application, or whatever this is, whatever project this is. But suppose, for example, in this state, the second green dot, you want to add two functionalities in your app. And this is a very common thing because you always see updates coming in your apps, or you want to do some modification in your website. And this is a very common thing. But you cannot stop users from using your current website just to add those functionalities. So in version controlling, what happens is this state, the state in the second green dot, will get replicated or cloned in this state. And this is a different branch which is created just for developing that feature. For example, if you want to add two functions or two features in your current state of the code, you can assign those two features to two different teams or two different person, whatever scale this is. So for example, you create two different branches over here. For example, this is a feature A and this is feature B. Now when the development of feature A and feature B happens, the current code will not change and the user will still see this change, this state of the code. And once this code, the feature A, gets completed, maybe this feature A is a small update, so this gets completed quickly than feature B. So once the code is tested and everything is looking good, this feature gets added to the main branch, and this is called merging. And once this feature is merged to this, the user can see your updates. And after this stage, this branch can be deleted if you want. And similarly with this feature C can be developed independently. And notice over here that this feature C is not aware of what code is present in feature B. It is still a copy of this second green dot state. And so once this development is done, this merging might result to some conflicts, which we will see in an actual example. But once those conflicts are resolved, this feature B and feature C will be this feature C will be added to this code, which already contains feature B because we have merged the feature B over here. And so this helps a lot to keep track of all the versions. And in the version controlling system, you can jump back to any of the green dots over here. And if you want to scrap the feature C, so you can just jump back to this feature where feature C was not there, but feature B was there. So in this way, version controlling helps you. And all the version controlling will happen in the background, and you will just see the main files, a single copy of each of the files. Now let's see a practical example of all of these concepts. So for this, first you have to download the Git to execute the Git commands, and you can just Google Git download and the first link will lead you to the download page of that, and you can select whatever operating system you have, those files, and install it in your machine. Once you have that, you have to go to your GitHub. If you have not created your account, you should create an account first, and then on the home page you can see a plus icon over here. Click that and click new repository. Repository is nothing but a project. You can consider that as a complete collection of files that represent one thing. So in this repository I will name it as test because this is for just for testing purposes. You can give description of this repository, so I will add test repo and I will create repository. Now this repository is present only on the browser or the web version of the GitHub. Now what is GitHub over here? GitHub is just a platform that supports version controlling, and the tool that is used inside it is the Git. So to take this code from the web version to our local version, because we most likely will like to develop everything on our local machine. So what I will do is I will just copy this link of my GitHub repository, and I will open my terminal. I will navigate to a folder where I want to put my project folder in. So this is a temp folder that I have created to clone my repository. So in over here, if you have installed your Git correctly, then this command will run. So you have to type git clone and paste the link that was provided over in on the GitHub. So what this will do, it will take all the files that are present on the web. Currently this repository is an empty repository because we have just created that, but you can do this on any stage. So if you want to clone any of the projects on GitHub, you have to use git clone and then paste the link of the Git, and it is giving me a warning that you appear to have cloned an empty repository, but that is fine because we are going to add the files now. So I will just close this. Now once I have cloned this, I will go into that folder, which will have the same name as your repository. So the folder name will have the name of test. And now I will open this folder in my Visual Studio Code. So currently there are no files in this folder. So what I will do is I will create a file. I will name it as abc.txt again, and On my day one, I will add feature A like this. I will save this. Now to keep track of what changes have been made into a file, you have to use git functions. So over here, you have to type in this command git add and whatever file that you want to keep track of. So git add abc.txt. What this will do is it will add this file and it will start tracking this file's changes. And in most of the cases, you will create a lot of files. So in that case, it will not be feasible to add files one by one manually. So instead of that, you can use git add and press a dot to represent that you want to add all the files that are present in the current folder. So dot represents the current folder. So if I do that, so that will also work. I have added my changes to the file, but these changes are not final. And so to make those changes final, we have to commit those changes. So for that, you have to use git commit and you have to pass a message. But for passing a message, you have to use -m, which stands for message. And in double quotes, you can add whatever message you want. This message should be informative that what changes have been made so that it can be tracked in future. So I will add feature A added and I will click enter. So one file changed, one insertion, and this one insertion indicates this line. So I have added this line, but if you can see over here, if I click on code, it is still showing the page where there is no code files. So we have done all our changes on the local machine. To push all our changes that we have made on our local machine to the web version, we have to use git push and it will push all the changes that are there in our local machine to the git that we have initially cloned to. So as you can see, https and this git was the link that we pasted in the first step. So if we go up to our repository and refresh the page, you can see that abc.txt feature A added. And this is the reason why commit messages are very useful. So you can see at a glance that this abc.txt, the last change that was made over here. And if you go to the commit link, you can see all the commits, all the changes that have been done on this project. Now, after committing the feature A, we are in the stage of this second green dot. Now, just like this example, we want to add two features, say feature B and feature C. We have seen that we don't change the code directly in the main branch or the master branch. So to create a different branch, as we are seeing in the diagram over here, the red dot, the red branch, git branch, and followed by the branch name. So as we are adding feature B in this, I will name this branch as feature B. And if you want to see what all branches are there in your current repository, then you can type just git branch and then press enter to see what all branches are there. And the star and the green text will indicate your current branch. So you are currently on the master branch. And similarly, I will add feature C at this stage. And if I do git branch again, you can see that feature B, feature C, and master branches are there in my current code. So let's first implement the feature B. So currently we are on the master branch. So we don't want to make changes directly in this code. So we want to shift to the B branch, the feature B branch. So to change our branch, we have to use git checkout and followed by the branch name that we want to check out to. So I will check out to feature B, switch to branch feature B. And if I do git branch, you can see that the current highlighted branch is feature B with the asterisk and the green text. Now I can go to my code and add feature B like this, save this file. And as I have made some changes to my code, I want to keep track of this change. So I will do git add dot just like before. And these changes are not finalized yet. So I will do git commit with a message that I have added feature B. So two insertions, one deletion. So it will just mean that this line was changed and this line was added. Now you might wonder that we have made our changes directly to the file over here. So where is the version controlling? So if I change my branch from feature B to master by doing git checkout master, you can see that it took some time, but it changes all the code that was present in the master branch. So the master branch has all the unchanged code. And if we want to merge the feature B into our master branch, we have to use git merge and the branch name that we want to merge. So in this case, I want to merge feature B over here. And if I go to my text editor, you can see that feature B was added automatically in this. And once you merge anything, you can choose to delete the branch because you have added all the changes from that branch to the master branch. So that branch is technically not needed. So to delete a branch, you have to do git branch -d, which indicates deleting the branch, and the branch name that I want to delete. So feature B, I want to delete. Deleted branch feature B. And if I check the list of branches, feature B is deleted. Now let's see what is there in the feature C branch. So to check out to that branch, I will do git checkout the branch name, which is feature C. And if I go to my code, all the changes over here in this diagram, the feature C was created, the feature C branch was created at this green state dot, the second green dot. And once the feature B was added, the master branch is now at this stage where it is the third green dot. But feature C is still unchanged because we have not made any changes in this branch. So it is still reflecting the second green dot over here. That is just feature A. Now, if I want to add feature C in this, as I have made changes, I will do git add dot and commit these changes with a message that I have added feature C. And once you commit anything changes, you can switch your branch to master branch, git checkout master, and it says your branch is ahead of origin master by one commit. So it is already saying that there is some commit happened between this state and this state. So if I try to merge feature C branch in the current branch, auto merge abc.text, it will lead to a conflict because if you remember that we have added feature B on the second line, and in the feature C also we have added feature C in the second line. So this merging is now getting confused, like which of the content that you want to keep, whether you want to keep feature B or feature C or both. So if you go to your file in VS Code, it is very easy to resolve the conflict. So accept current change, accept incoming change, accept both changes, or compare changes. So I want to keep both feature B and feature C. So I will click accept both changes, and by this it has now feature A, B, and C, all of those. And once I have made my changes, final changes, so this resolving conflict is also technically a change. So I will do git add dot git commit resolved conflict with a message. And again, these changes are still on the local machine. If you see over here, it is still on the feature A, that is the second green dot over here. So if you want to push the local version of the repository to the web version, you again have to use git push. And it has pushed all the changes to this git. And if you go to your browser and refresh it, you can see the changes have been made. And if you see the history over here, you can see all the changes, all the commits that we added: feature A added, feature B added, C added, and resolved conflict. And the main part of this version controlling is that you can see what was the code at the stage of the commit. So feature A added, at this stage it had just feature A. Similarly, if we go to feature B, then it will show you all the files that all the lines that were changed. You can also see the state of the code like this. So this keeps track of all the files over here, but in your actual file system it is just a single file. And again, as we have added our feature C to the main branch, we can go ahead and delete the branch feature C. And if I see the list of branches, it is just the master branch. Now let's see some of the GitHub functionalities. For example, if you want to make some changes to someone's repository that is hosted on GitHub, for that you most likely won't be making your changes in the master branch, just like the example that we saw. So in that case, you will like to make a branch, but there is a catch over here. You cannot create branches of the repository that you do not own. So currently this test repository is in my username, but suppose you want to make changes to someone else's repository. In that case, you first have to fork that repository to your repository. So this is the option that you want to click, and then this repository will be hosted on your username. And once you do that, you can make changes to your version of the repository by going over here, which lists all the branches. Currently it has just master branch. I will add feature D, and it prompts me to create branch, so I will create that, and it will shift to feature D branch created, and it will shift to feature D branch. If I go to my code, for saving some time, I will make the changes in the GitHub only. So over here, I will do feature D, and in the commit message, I will add feature D added. So you can see that this is almost the same just as we are doing on the command line, but it has all the GUI functionalities so that you do not have to remember all the functions, the git commands as such. So I will just commit changes, and this commit was done on the feature D branch. So if I shift to master branch, it is still feature A, feature B, and feature C. Now if we want to merge this branch over here, we have to go to pull request and create new pull request, and then you have to add from which branch to which branch you have to merge. So I want to add feature D branch to the master branch. The arrow is indicating that. Once you have selected this, you have to create pull request, and this pull request is useful because you can merge branch one branch from your repository to the master branch of their repository. So pull request can be useful for that in those cases where you don't own the repository. So in this case, both the branches are in my repository, but in actual cases, this base branch will be the branch of their repository from where you have forked that repository to your account, and this branch on the right will be your branch that you have created for that. So you will add some comments so that the owners of the repository will come to know what you have changed in this. So I will add feature D added, and depending on the owners, you might get a form to fill or is pre-formatted message that you want to fill. So in this case, there was no such message, so I've just added feature D added, and I will do create pull request. And the owner of the repository, now consider me as the owner of the repository from where you have forked. I will get to see this request that feature D added, and I will get this option to merge it. So I can see what features were added, and I can test it, and I can review it whether it is following the standard practices of this repository's developers or not. So once that is done, if that is not the case, I can add comments so that they can make the changes again. And once all the changes are finalized, I will do merge and confirm with this message, confirm merge. And if I go to my code, The master branch will have this ABC text with feature D added like this. And now you can go ahead and delete this branch, mark feature D over here. And commit this. But for example, if you want to, if you are
that you had you could.
So in this way, we have seen what is version controlling, how to create a repository on GitHub, and GitHub functionality. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, share this video with your friends, comment any feedback that you have for this video or this channel. You can connect to me via LinkedIn, whose link is in the description. Here are some of the videos and playlists that you might want to watch, and I will see you in the next video.